My name is Michael Johnson. I am, as Alistair said, Senior BIM Consultant to Excitec. My background for my SIND is architecture, and I've spent 30 years working in this wonderful built environment. I've witnessed the demise of drawing boards and the introduction of CAD systems in around 1979. Some people might think that that was a similar transition from drawing boards to CAD, but in reality, the changes that we made changed very few of the processes and relationships within those design and build teams. As I'd like to try and explore today, BIM is revolutionising the way in which facilities are designed, built and managed. So, building information modelling. BIM has many definitions. It's a 3D model, it's a database, it's a digital representation of what we may get built, it's an analysis tool, it's a digital representation of what was built, and as a client, it's a data set that I might have purchased. So in short, despite my 20-year-old definition of a suggestion, that it's the production and management of long-life multi-purpose data for managed use within the life cycle of a facility, it's probably and currently more accurate to say that BIM means different things to different people at different times. What does BIM mean to Excitec? As long-term provider of technology and consultancy into the design, build and manage space, it is interesting to map our company development over the now well-recognised BIM cheese. From our creation in 1985 as a specialist Autodesk reseller supporting the emergence of technology within the AEC space, through the development of CAFM technologies, single model environments, Excitec has developed one of the most experienced organisations in the UK, delivering true BIM consultancy and support to this ever-changing environment. As a provider of solutions across all areas of design, build and manage, we are uniquely placed to support both the development of BIM within the UK and, more importantly, your organisation. The idea that we follow a data path from site acquisition through all phases of design, build and manage process, making use of long-life multi-purpose data, is slowly becoming a reality. You know where you sit in this circle of life. You know where in the cycle we join and we recognise our position within the inner circle too. As a profession, we have delivered successful projects for many years. However, I'm sure most of you would agree that by operating in silos, constrained by our appointments, fee structures, professional deliverables, occasionally activities and data sets are replicated, duplicated, and sometimes misplaced. So from a client perspective, is this the best way to procure buildings? How much better would our process of delivery be if we were all engaged at the right time, operated in an environment of greater trust and transparency, and had a single goal? In other words, to deliver a facility on time to a high quality and within the allocated budget. So BIM is not software. BIM is not something we buy in a box. BIM is a process. You cannot buy BIM version 1.1. It's definitely not just for new build. Indeed, where the need for unobtrusive survey work is required, a point cloud survey is the current best practice starting point for redevelopment. In my humble opinion, that fact that the modelling rather than drafting, we can focus more time on design iterations and less time on the mundane production of documents that predominantly only facilitate our contractual obligations and or payment of fees. If we can actually swap the 80% 20% ratio and spend more time designing and less time procuring documentation, we should in effect obtain a better design solution. Our role as BIM consultants is to ensure that the right data is produced in the right BIM using the most appropriate technology to allow it to seamlessly be passed to the next stage of development. So what does that all really mean? Building information modelling is an integrated process for exploring a project's key physical and characteristics digitally before it's built. The coordinated, consistent information used throughout the BIM process helps architects, engineers, contractors, civil engineers and owners prior to construction to see what their design will look like and, more importantly, how it will perform. Using the BIM process, the intelligent information informs the building process along the way. The visibility enables all members of the project team to contribute to its success through better coordination, more accuracy, and the ability to make more informed decisions earlier in the process. For example, the model can help you, the architect, convey the design intent to all stakeholders, resulting in more predictable outcomes, helping to reduce errors and waste. Or, using the intelligent parametric information in the model, analysis can be conducted early in the process to help determine if the design is optimized to meet or exceed energy mandates and other sustainability regulations. Gone are the days of plans, sections and elevations not reading as one. Gone are the days of producing schedules for doors, windows, etc. by hand. Notwithstanding the massive benefits of true team collaboration, the majority of UK early adopters have engaged with BIM, have done so to simply improve internal working practices and performance. In other words, to do more with less, faster, and to a higher level of consistency and accuracy. So building information modelling aims to engage more team members earlier and design some of the detail earlier in the process. To do this, we obviously have to change who employs us, when we're employed, and what we're engaged to deliver. With a BIM output, the deliverables, drawings, can be the same as with traditional CAD, but rather than plans, sections, elevations, schedules, etc., created in isolation, they're a byproduct of a parametric model. The parametric change engine within most BIM tools ensures that all views of the model are coordinated. If you make a change on plan, that change is reflected in all relevant views. This holistic approach promotes a better understanding of the building design and ensures a more informed design at a far earlier stage. By using the same core model from concept to detailed design, activities such as daylight analysis and energy uses, space conformity, etc., can be performed without the need to duplicate effort. BIM is not just for design. In 2012, BIM crosses the design space, the construction space, and the maintenance space. By creating more accurate, better coordinated information in the design BIM, we've created a design database that will enable the construction team to start their activities with an increased degree of confidence. The true value of BIM is reusing the data produced downstream and upstream and building on a level of data to be shared with others. In other words, ensure that data flows throughout the life cycle of a project without the need for duplication. The level of detail in a model may change as elements transform from generic components to real-world manufacturer's product, but the change in status is planned, managed, and most importantly, recorded at a database for use in the maintenance BIM. Design and construction today. So why change? 30% of construction is rework. 60% of labour and effort is wasted. 10% lost due is wasted materials. Mistakes and delays are the biggest added cost to a project. 80% of inputs are identical. This gives an estimation of 20% in an increased cost due to the above positions. Can we continue to work like these in these challenging economic times? We're all having to address the issues of delivering a better quality product in less time and to a higher quality. We are not alone. Our clients in this space, our peers in this space, are all dealing with the same issues. If we could increase the speed of our delivery, coordinate and create fewer errors, and decrease the amount of money spent, waste would be reduced. If we can increase the accuracy and actually start to model life cycle costing, clients would be more confident of our delivery at an earlier stage. If we had an improved understanding of sustainability and energy efficiencies, those buildings would ultimately be easier to move on. Certain people are looking at BIM with a view to reduction of risk. Risk of what? Risk of failure, risk of overspending, risk of under-delivering, risk of exclusion, fear of being left behind. In some areas, new revenue streams and business opportunities are being identified, but ultimately, most players are getting engaged to increase efficiency and therefore increase their profitability to have and remain a sustainable business for the next few years. In the ideal world, BIM is a fully detailed product data set that has benefits all through the processes from design through build and now operating within the FM and maintenance space. In reality, most current BIMs are probably closer to spatially accurate 3D models with limited or no useful life cycle data. The good news is that by recognizing where you are and having a solid BIM strategy, you can, with assistance, achieve your BIM goals. Following the government's lead, private clients of differing types are ever more insisting on a BIM delivery. Some clients, like the government, are defining what they require as data outputs, others are leaving the definition and outputs to the team involved. In almost all cases, the reasons are similar. They want a more effective procurement process. The majority of clients have less budget than last year, yet they have an obligation to deliver facilities without compromising on quality. They wish to have greater input to the process, in effect greater levels of transparency and collaboration. But the biggest simple driver is to ensure that data delivered within the design build BIMs is made available to use within the maintenance BIM, In other words, they want to smooth the transition from build to manage and expose the value of FM data. Better design coordination tool, better design decisions, improved understanding of complex geometries, better communication, immediate access to limitless CAD 3D representations, early clash detection across disciplines, coordinated improvement, ensure internal standards are adhered to. This list goes on and on. Ultimately, we want to make better decisions earlier. We want to analyse the buildings earlier. We want to reduce waste. We want to offer more services and take more control and use the latest technology for a new era. Contractors. Earlier cost certainty probably sits highest on the contractor's agenda, followed closely by the ability to validate designs. If an improved quality of data is delivered out of the design bin, there is a less of a risk or contingency factored into the costs that are returned to a potential client. By enabling a contractor to more accurately validate, cost, plan, procure and manage, as a team there should be a greater chance of more projects progressing past planning and into construction. Ultimately, contractors are in that safer, quicker, leaner mode. We can hand over earlier, we will end up with happier clients. All facilities cost more to maintain during their life cycle than they do to design and build. The largest and potentially the most important aspect of BIM is how we capture project data and ultimately how we manage it. Knowing at handover where a space is, what a space is, and most importantly what asset it contains, is fundamental to the efficiency and economic running of a facility. In the same way that clients, building end users, are beginning to spend more for a green, sustainable building, there is evidence that having a data-rich BIM for use in operation is a developer's USP. So the data is out there, let's use it. The data is out there, let's capture it today and make it available for use tomorrow. Collaboration means the introduction of intricate workflows and the use of recognised standards. The importance of an appropriate strategy and execution plan cannot be emphasised enough. Without close control, BIM can rapidly descend into a disjointed, uncoordinated set of valueless data. Time spent at the beginning of a project creating these individual documents and standards will allow all parties to reap the benefits of a structured approach to BIM when the project kicks off. So we need to start to look at specification of delivery information, guidelines for modelling and modelling sharing, definition of that collaborative methodology. What should be compatible with what? Whose standards are we using? Establish responsibilities for each party and set correct levels of expectations. If we don't put some bookends around this, delivering BIM is unachievable. As such, it is imperative that at an early stage within a BIM project, all parties agree such formats and procedures to cover the collaboration processes, issuing of information, what data exchange protocols are being used, information specification, how often are meetings held, and how often is the BIM praised. With these documents in place and an appointment of a BIM coordinator and managing the policies and processes, a successfully coordinated BIM should be possible. So as previously touched on in the presentation, XITech are here to support you in your BIM journey. Whether you are just starting your BIM journey or indeed a BIM literate early adopter, we believe that our service delivery can support you from those first early steps to the more complicated challenge of managing a fully collaborated BIM delivery. We're here to help you. We're here to help you whether you are an architect, an engineer, a contractor, a client, a subcontractor, or indeed a building owner. The consultancy services that are listed here, in our estimation, support the BIM process and enable a rapid adoption to return on investment as soon as is possible.